Hello, my movie peep. Appreciate you clicking on this video. Day 2 of CinemaCon is continuing on. Earlier today, I did a video breaking down the Lionsgate panel that happened on day 2. And now that it's later in the day, Universal just had their panel of announcements. And I'll be honest with you, this was probably the least exciting panel of them all. There was a couple of stuff in here that actually did get me hyped. And they even released one trailer online for the public to see, which is a good thing. So I'm hoping tomorrow Paramount and Disney really bring down the house with the announcements. If not, this year of CinemaCon is going to be a kind of an underwhelming one. But I'm curious to hear from you guys. Now that we've had 3 panels of CinemaCon so far, who do you think has had the best announcements? What has been your favorite announcement? Timestamps will be in the description for all the movies I'm talking about here, but okay, let's just dive into it. So with Universal here, it was obvious that their heavy hitter of the night was going to be the movie Wicked. When the attendees were going into the auditorium for the Universal panel, they were given lanyards for Wicked, and all the seats had little roses on them that lit up throughout the event. So if that was really the biggest announcement of the night, I knew we weren't going to get much. They kicked things off with a little showcase of Despicable Me 4. It was an extended clip from the movie, and it was said to be a scene where Gru has to perform a heist only using stuff in his baby bag. And these aren't any high-tech gadgets or anything. Apparently the minions lose his equipment, so Gru has to perform a heist with things like a baby bottle, a pacifier, baby powder. I think that actually sounds pretty funny. And well, if you're a fan of the minions, the footage went over well for those people. From there, they moved on to talk about Twisters. This is a movie that I'm seeing a lot of people get excited and hyped for. I'm still someone that has to go see that original Twisters because I missed it as a kid. But the things they talked about and showcased during this panel was that they went and filmed real-life storms and incorporated them into the movie. They also talked about bringing in much more destruction than the first film had. And just like we've seen with the first Twister trailer, it looks like it's going to be a very entertaining movie. I have to make time to see that original Twisters, and I am looking forward to the second movie. I just love the idea of them bringing back kind of what used to be a simple blockbuster and still treating it like a big movie today. That's then where Blumhouse and Jason Blum took the stage to talk about a couple of their upcoming horror movies, starting off with Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, for some reason, even though Blumhouse has been denying for the past couple of months that there's not going to be a Five Nights at Freddy's 2, they have now finally confirmed Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is in the works, and it'll be released fall of 2025. This was obviously going to happen, being that Five Nights at Freddy's is the most successful Blumhouse movie that they've ever made, at least financially speaking. Other than that, they really didn't say much else about the project. We know a couple of days ago, Jason Blum did reveal the first look to the movie. That's just going to the Jim Henson Creature Shop and showing the workers starting to work on the animatronics for the second movie. I'm still wondering if they're going to have a tagline or if they're just going to go with Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But either way, it's just nice to have that confirmation and to see that we're getting the movie next year. From there, they talked about the upcoming horror movie Wolfman, directed by Leigh Whannell, that I am so excited for. And thanks to Discussing Films, we have here a description of the footage, and it goes as, CinemaCon got a very first look at Leigh Whannell's Wolfman, which is still in the earliest days of shooting. Christopher Abbott plays a troubled father who is trying to protect his young daughter in a remote cabin in the woods. Ozark's Julia Gardner seems to be playing the mother role, as no other characters are shown besides these 3. Abbott is extremely paranoid about a danger that seems to be stalking his family from outside of their home. It's teased that it's some kind of large dog, which Abbott is eventually bit by on the arm. As Christopher Abbott starts to slowly transform for the first time out of the frame, Julia Gardner's mother character grabs her daughter away slowly in fear. There's a real sense of irony as Abbott is now becoming a very threat he is trying to protect his daughters from. It's implied that the story then takes a turn as a mother and daughter versus father. This is a totally modernized take on the Universal classic Wolfman story, and even though CinemaCon didn't get to see the creature, it is teased via a shadow that it could be more in line with the traditional design of the Wolfman walking upright. Woo, that is exciting. So it was only a glimpse of footage. They really didn't get to see much, and that's because the movie is still being worked on, but I love that premise. This modernization of the Wolfman. Leigh Whannell already did a great job with his take on the Invisible Man. That was a very modern and great take on that character. And so now to see a story like this where the father just wants to protect his family, but he becomes the very thing that he needs to protect them from, it is now mother-daughter versus the dad. I'm into that. I just hate that they moved this movie to January of next year instead of October because Venom 3 decided to remove its release date, and they didn't want to compete with Venom 3. From there, they decided to talk about the upcoming Nosferatu movie. This is the Robert Eggers interpretation of the famous vampire tale that stars Bill Skarsgård as Nosferatu. A description of the footage goes as, CinemaCon got to see the very first trailer for Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, a bold new reimagining of the classic horror tale. The trailer opens with Lily Rose Depp as Anne Harding saying, "Come to me, hear my call." Right before, a hand reaches out to grab her. She says, evil comes from beyond and tells Willem Dafoe, sporting a giant white beard, that he is coming to us. While laying in the hospital bed plagued by some kind of sickness, we then cut to an atmospheric shot of 19th century Germany, quick glimpses of a gothic castle, a horrifying cemetery, the local city, and its many citizens carrying around coffins. The real money shot of the trailer is the image of a giant shadow of Nosferatu crooked hand going over the town and covering it in darkness, only to then cut to Anne Harding with all blood all over her face. Willem Dafoe's character, chewing up the scenery like a madman, starts rallying up townsfolk to face a dark evil. He's then seen surrounded by thousands of real rats in Old Molosseum. We are here encountering the vampire, Dafoe says. Before opening up an ancient coffin, we see a side profile of Nosferatu's iconic nose, which is followed by a visual of his dark silhouette floating down a giant hallway. The trailer ends with Dafoe's character seemingly coming face to face with the creature when he chillingly says, Nosferatu. Yeah, this definitely feels like this is the type of description that probably doesn't do the visuals justice. I really like Robert Eggers' work, and I am looking forward to what he does with Nosferatu, but I can just tell, me reading that, it only got like 10% of you hype and a 90% of you skipping to the next topic. That's the thing that sucks sometimes with these CinemaCon descriptions, is we don't get to see what the actual footage is. But I am looking forward to that. The other last horror movie they talked about is one where we actually did get the trailer released online. Blumhouse released a trailer for their movie Speak No Evil. Now, this is an interesting movie because it's a remake of a foreign film that only came out 2 years ago with the same name. It follows a couple who meets another couple on vacation where they get invited back to their home, only for them to find out that these strangers are not as friendly as they appear, having a bunch of uncomfortable and unsettling situations unfold. Now, I myself have not seen the foreign film. I wanted to watch it, but then I heard Blumhouse was making this movie, and I knew probably watching the foreign film would really give me a bias on this American version. So I'm going to put off watching the foreign version until I see this one, just so I can enjoy this one to its full capacity. But I am seeing a lot of my mutuals say it feels like the exact same movie, just, well, Americanized. There's definitely a lot of unsettling and creepy things in here. James McAvoy seems like a madman. I will say, though, from what I understand, it feels like this trailer does not play it subtle, and where it basically gives away a lot of the tense, uncomfortable moments that the couple has to go through when hanging out with this creepy couple. So I would say if you're interested in this movie, maybe don't watch the full trailer, because I think it gives away a lot. Where if you go and watch the trailer for the first movie, it's a lot more subtle on some of its creepy atmosphere. But overall, I am looking forward to this, and I hope it turns out good. From there, DreamWorks decided to get on stage to talk about their upcoming animated movie, The Wild Robot. This is a movie being directed by Chris Sanders, who brought us Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon. And ever since the first trailer of this movie came out, it immediately became one of my most anticipated animated movies of this year. Not only does it look like a beautiful film, but it looks like it's going to hit all the heartstrings and emotions it's aiming for. They really only just talked a little bit about it and said that their main inspiration for the visual style was old Disney animated movies and Miyazaki films. And yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's kind of showcased here. Other than that, DreamWorks didn't talk about much else. I was hoping for an update on Shrek 5. Where's my green ogre? And well, if you were looking for something green, they moved on to then talk about Wicked. This was essentially the big hitter of the night, and they showcased off a 4-minute sequence. A lot of the cast, like Jeff Goldblum and Ariana Grande, were just raving about how they felt so lucky to be part of the movie. As far as what the footage looked like, here's one description. Just saw like a 4-minute extended trailer for Wicked. Kind of showed the whole movie. The school, the rivalry, the friendship, meeting Oz, his betrayal, with a few songs playing over it. It looks so bright and beautiful. I'm really happy for the people excited for this movie. I know there's a lot of people looking forward to it. I wish I could say I was feeling that same excitement, but from that first trailer, I only have a mild interest in it. And well, that was really Universal's panel at CinemaCon. Tomorrow, we'll be talking Disney and Paramount. Hopefully, it's big announcements. I'm thinking Paramount is going to be a big one, but who knows? Be sure you subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. But as always, my name is Chris. Take care.